5th of October. I'm Stephen Ridgway. VMware. So VMware has released information about a critical vulnerability, but then pointed out that they've already patched it, which is very nice of them. So the vulnerability is known as CVE 2023-34048, and it has according to the register, it has a CVSS v3 score of 9.8 out of 10, which is pretty serious. It allows a malicious actor to trigger an out-of-bounds write, which could potentially lead to remote code execution. The good thing is that VMware are saying that the upgrade, if I've got this, understand this correctly, the upgrade to vCenter Server 8.0 U2, which was released on the 21st of September, has dealt with this particular issue. Interestingly, there's an archived version of the release notes for 8.0 U2 dated from the 13th of October that doesn't mention security patches. However, it does appear that that if you are on that version, you should be okay. As always, take my don't literally trust everything I say. I am, as everyone does, prone to making mistakes or misinterpreting these things. But my understanding is that with this 8.0 U2 is addressed the vulnerability. But of more interest is that VMware have released patches for end-of-life versions. So version 6.5, 6.7, and 7.0 can all be patched and fixed. That is a very good thing. I strongly support that. So yes, all right. So the systems are technically out of support, and then it shouldn't be a case of thou shalt never receive a security patch again. More, it's at the discretion of the software vendor as to whether a retro patch is justified or not. And clearly, for something which is pretty serious, so yeah, that is not an unusual thing for companies to be considering these days. Which I think is reputation than anything else, but it doesn't matter why they do it, so long as they are putting this first and doing the right things. Some of you, I'm sure, are aware that it is, or this week was the start of Pwn to Own in Toronto, or however you pronounce PWN. I don't know. Pwn to Own. I'm waffling. Stop it. Right. So Samsung Galaxy S23 has been breached or hacked twice on the first day. There were vulnerabilities in various other devices that have been discovered. So Western Digital, QNAP, Synology, Canon, Lexmark, Sonos devices. This particular Pwn to Own is focusing, I believe, on consumer products. Unsurprising that there are vulnerabilities being found and exploited, because that's the object of the exercise, really, with this stuff. Undoubtedly, there will be more stuff coming out over the next few days, and you will, I am sure, see patches, fixes, upgrades, and so on and so forth coming out as well. So worth keeping an eye on what's going on there, because if any of these devices you use personally or friends or family use, you might want to at least give them the heads up to keep an eye out for patches and upgrades. Equally, consumer tooling does find its way, consumer kit does find its way into business. So if you are using devices, especially phones, right? You don't buy a special business phone. You just take a phone, kind of thing. So yeah, if you are using them, then make sure that you are aware of these patches. Also, make sure at least have visibility of what's happening on phones where the phone has got access to sensitive or important corporate data or information, including emails and so on and so forth. So, interesting one there. If anything else crops up during the rest of the week, I'll anything interesting, I'll clearly bring it to your attention. But right now, expect Samsung to be pushing out updates for Galaxy S23s. Citrix is urging patches for a NetScaler bug because a POC exploit has been made available. So Citrix is urging admins to immediately apply a fix for CVE 2023 4966, which is an information disclosure bug affecting NetScaler ADC and NetScaler Gateway. It has been seen to be exploited. There's proof of concept code on GitHub. So have a look, see if you have patched recently. If you have, there is some, if you have patched, you should be okay. But it is worth reading this article because there are some further steps that you may want to take. In the Monday blog, mitigation, not as theirs, mitigation advice was repeated that even if you've patched devices, if you haven't been through and effectively killed all the sessions, compromised sessions could remain persistent through the patch and upgrade process. There are some commands listed out in the article in the register, and there's also links out to further information around this, which I would recommend if you're using these devices. Have a read of this stuff, make sure you keep on top of it, and make sure you've got some patching and version management that is dealing with these things as they're coming up. And then finally from me today, there has been some research into API security flaws based around the using social media accounts and OAuth to authenticate against other websites. The HackRead article that I've got in front of me talks about 3 different problematic implementations of OAuth, where things like, but by this I mean when it says log in with Google, log in with Facebook, log in with, I don't know, Twitter. Twitter, does they do that? I'm not sure, but Facebook definitely does. Google definitely does. Apple does as well. Log in with Apple, and it will create you. You can do. I don't know whether the Apple one actually might work a little bit differently, but effectively, what they're doing is OAuth. So if you successfully authenticate against let's say Facebook, the social provider, they then will pass back a token to the originating website, as in the one that you're trying to log into, that says, yes, this user is authenticated. Obviously, all the steps in that process need to be secured. And this piece of research has demonstrated that a pass the token attack can get around some of these things. So if you manage to steal an authentication token. So basically, where your OAuth provider, let's say Facebook or Google again, as it sends the confirmation back to the website that this user is authenticated, there's a token that's associated with these things. If that can be intercepted and replayed because there's no server-side verification on this part of the server that you're trying to log into, that would allow an attacker to spoof a successful authentication and allow the attacker in. So the three sites that have been called out for this are Video with 2 eyes, video.com. In this case, whilst logging in through Facebook, the website didn't verify the token or OAuth itself, which is an enormous flaw, and basically allows manipulating of API calls to insert an access token created for another application. This alternate token app ID combination allows researchers to impersonate a user on the website and get the opportunity to take over thousands of accounts. There is a website in Indonesia. Indonesia's, in fact, largest e-commerce platform is known as Bukalapak, BUKALAPAK.com. It again fails to verify access tokens if you are logging onto the site using social media accounts as your OAuth provider. So Salt Labs, who are the people that did the research, the team was able to insert a token from another website and was able to access users' credentials from the website, effectively gaining full control of the account. And the final one that's talked about here is actually Grammarly, which the other two I've not used. Obviously, I'm not going to be buying much on Indonesia's e-commerce site because I'm not. But Grammarly, I think lots and lots of people have used. I've used it in the past. I know various people that do use it. It's a very good AI tool, AI writing tool, AI-based writing tool. It was possible to manipulate the API exchange to insert code to verify users on a different website and successfully obtaining credentials on the Grammarly site. So I believe these three have been patched. These specific vulnerabilities have been addressed. However, the concept is still out there. And it is something perhaps to have in the back of your mind that if you are using a single sign-on type approach, social media sign-on type approach to accessing confidential data on the internet, it's only as secure as that the complete system has been made. So it isn't necessarily magically secure. If, as is the case with these services, if they haven't implemented OAuth in a robust and secure manner, there are ways to circumvent it. And clearly, checking that the token that's being passed to the web server that asked for authentication, checking that token is the right token, is a valid token, I think that's a bit of a no-brainer. That is a no-brainer. So it's surprising that isn't being done. But as we know, it's often the simple stuff that catches us out. So that's all from me for today. I hope you have a good Wednesday, and I will speak to you all again tomorrow morning.